Everybody, that is good with everyone.
Yeah. What's going on? What's power?
I'm being dramatic, but sometimes you come to expect that. Y'all should already know. Oh, we already got 2 on YouTube. Okay. All right, that's cool.
I had an argument with myself and lost. Debating about
what is up with everybody?
28, but still feeling like I am not a man.
We're actually going to do a deep dive into something that we talked about in a pod already, and it's actually code switching. So basically, let me see if I can get the because I like the textbook definitions. I know some people are going to be coming in, so we'll bring this back up. We're going to use the Urban Dictionary for this. Code switching is to customize style of speech to the audience or group being addressed. Using in a case of point, she talks street to her friends at school, but when she's with her family, she's code switching and speaks proper English. Right.
What's going on, Kiki?
What up, though? Or here's one: code switch. Speaking in a particular way, using particular terms, references depending on who you're addressing or interacting with.
What's going on, Damo?
What up, though? What up, though? What is DarksKiing? Undramatic, but yeah. So I'm sure that all of us, especially us of the melanated variety, which I think that's all that's on here right now, have all done some measure of code switching at least once or twice in our lives, usually as a result of work. So, we understand. It just comes with, what do they call it now, understanding the assignment. Because that's definitely part of it. It's certainly part of it.
Don't worry, y'all. Same dynamics as what we usually do. We do have a question posted in case you don't see it. We are heavily considering switching to Sundays at 8 p.m. Just for the sake of our schedules and stuff.
Yes.
We want to know, does that work for y'all? Y'all still gonna be tuning in? Y'all still gonna be watching? What's up? Can we get some Y's for yes and some N's for no's?
Yeah, there we go. We can go with that.
Make it easy.
Add some Y's for yes, or some other things for no.
Still be ready for my life.
Let us know what's going on.
Yeah, we're gonna give it another 10 minutes before we really get to chopping it down.
Right.
Give some more people time to catch on to the stream and, get it going right.
Yes, indeed. Trying to make sure we hooked up and going at all cylinders.
Look, early nights, late mornings, and tidy contradiction, repeat addiction, and study often.
Go ahead and share this with people that you know that would be into it and want to tune in.
It's already connected up with yours, isn't it?
I'm getting my mic.
Code switching at work versus outside of work. Yes. No, not your mic. I think your mic's working just fine. Oh, shit. Let's see. Probably need that. Okay. You probably just ain't turned up. Hold on. There you go. Now try to talk.
Can you hear me? Can we hear me?
Yeah, you should be good. Because the little green thing's moving. But yes,
sorry about that.
Switching at work versus outside of work. Man,
I want to talk about it in general because I actually, personally, I got some issues with this whole notion of code switching, and I see in ways to which this whole code switching thing can be problematic. And I feel like we don't talk about enough about the problematicness of what we call code switching.
That is true. Well, because in a lot of ways, we kind of use it as a defense mechanism, if you get what I'm saying. Like, we use it as a way of dealing with certain things and navigating certain things when it can create a false narrative around yourself to where when folks see you out in the open and you look and sound like a whole different person, they're like, what the hell is this? Hold up. Kiki said, when you thinking I gotta let her know I'm not the one, and you email your statement CCing other people into it, and also yourself, so you know that if you got the message, 99.9% chance they got it too. That's me at work. That's ugly.
Yeah.
That ain't even code switching. That's just being devious.
No, that's
Damn. That's underhanded as hell.
the code is broken at that point.
Bro, ain't no code, nigga. That's devious. That's just disrespectful. You said, I'm going to make sure that this L is taken. I want to witness it up close. Twice.
Go ahead and share this, y'all, with as many people as you can.
Please,
we want to talk code switching. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's happening?
I'm about to say, I know we've all had some measure of experience with that particular thing. Just saying.
By the way, y'all, the music playing in the background is from this man's latest rap album. It is called 28.
28.
Links to it are in the description, as well as we can put it in the chat for you too.
Buy my ish. Anyway. I need money to pay for insurance. But amongst other things. You know. But yeah. Lord knows that you and me both go through a process of doing some measure of code switching. What's good, Kiera Rob 25? Kiki said she used to ignore the mess out of us though. I had to make sure I wasn't tripping. Respectfully. I'm dead. You said
gotta do what you gotta do.
I mean, I feel you.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Code switching is one of those things that epitomizes the phrase, there's more than one way to say something to somebody. And when you get really good at code switching and doing certain things, you find ways to say very horrible things to people in the nicest way possible. It truly is amazing. It truly is amazing. But for real, I have to do that sometimes. I ain't gonna cap. Like sometimes, depending on who I deal with at work, you know, they're a little younger, or if they're either a little younger or a little older, or if they're a little more like us. Whenever I'm having private meetings or talks with them, I do talk a little different, you know, because it's a relatability thing. Kiera Rob 25 said I do it all the time, code switching. Yeah, you know, and I know you working in the medical field, that's almost a requirement for you to be that way. You know what I'm saying? It's a given that you got a code switch because, I mean, y'all deal with too much stuff and with too many different types of people from all walks of life. Like, let's see. When people down south say love in a sentence, especially older ones, just know you everything but love. Oh, love, honey, baby girl. Well, baby girl's all right. But like, if they say little boy, little girl, that's different. That ain't nice. When they say honey or dear in a certain way, yeah. You got to listen real close to white folks when they say buddy, especially if they're country. Sometimes it's the inflection of how they say it. If they say, all right then, buddy. It's like yeah, I'll catch you later, buddy. That one's cool. If it's like, hey, all right then, buddy. You listen here, buddy. You know, that's when you know they low-key saying something else to you, especially if they old. You know what I'm saying? It's like little things like that.
Man.
But I mean, we do the same thing. Be like, bruh. Yeah, that hunty, not honey. I'm dead because it's kind of true. It is kind of true. Because, look, you know, black folk is the consummate professionals when it comes to talking all kinds of smack. We sitting there acting hurt.
I wonder when did colloquial speaking, I wonder when code switching became the term that people decided to use for essentially what I consider just acting accordingly.
Right. Well, as you know, Americans are category focused and centered.
We love
We love slapping themes and categories on stuff. We do. We like slapping definitions on things.
if we're talking culture wise, we love remixing stuff. That's my
Yeah.
thing.
Oh God, yes.
Look,
As Diddy said, we invented the remix. That's all that is. Kira Rob 25 said, yeah, it's ingrained. Yes, it absolutely is. Because you literally get taught it. You literally get taught to code switch.
it's indoctrinated, but my issue or where I have a problem is when we get too comfortable with it,
Yeah.
and it becomes like not only expected but
Right.
accepted.
It
Because I don't know that
becomes
code
a rule.
switching. I don't know that code switching is inherently right. Like I honestly believe that there may be cases or situations where that can be problematic.
Oh,
And-
we got a Y for yes for Sundays from Kiki.
Cool.
Cool.
Y'all respond to the question if you see it on the video.
Please
If we
respond
switch to
the
Sundays, if we switch to Sundays at 8 p.m., are you still watching? Yes or no? Does that work for you? What's up? We need some answers because we are heavily considering, and by heavily considering, there's a 90% chance that that's going to happen. We may switch the live streams to Sunday evenings.
Right.
Just, primarily for the sake of our schedules, busy work schedules. We both work a lot through the week.
Yep.
Also,
thanks, Javar.
we think it'll be a more appropriate
first
time for
show.
everybody.
Yeah. 2 Y's and 1 N. So you outrank right now, Javar.
Keontae on Facebook said once other people found out we act differently,
Yeah.
we're not around them.
Yeah. That's true.
Basically, where when it became that. I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
When it became code switch. Okay. But you know what though?
Code switching only works.
Do we
in a
think
place-
do we think other groups of people or other cultures don't do that?
Oh, they do. They absolutely do. I see it every day. Shoot. And you always know the difference. Because here's the big secret. White folk code switch as much as we do, if not more.
I feel like when we call
If
it code
not more.
switching, it makes it seem like it's something that's like so much more covert.
I mean, it is, but it isn't.
It ain't.
It's not that difficult to do, but it does yield exceedingly good results. Like, for real, there are a lot of people that I work with in the field that I'm in who actively code switch. Some of them
Keontae says he
actively-
doubts it. He doubts it. Keontae on Facebook says he doubts it. They have less reason to, in my opinion.
But that's the interesting thing, though. You're right. They have less reason to, right?
But why do they have less reason?
They have less reason to because they're the dominant society. They are the domineering power in society in Western society.
But what
They
is
set
that?
the tone and they set the rules. The reason why they do it almost more than we do is because they have to adhere to their own rules. They're so caught up on. It's not as bad as Victorian level, like how things were in the Victorian era. The Victorian era was basically code switching and capping if it was just a statewide mandate, for real. But it's because they're so caught up in their own standards that they force themselves to deal with it even when they don't have to. And Kiki said, Kiara Rob 25 said, they too. My Latino side of my family will speak faster and with more slang to keep you from understanding what they're saying. Yep. And black folk, and the thing is, I love my people, but sometimes we do unnecessary stuff. Like in the line of work I'm in, I understand it, but it's sometimes it's painfully clear that they'll act differently around like me versus somebody who white, especially if it's a white woman. That's the interesting. You get a lot of these dudes that'll act different around them. You know what I'm saying? And you start noticing it. I don't draw attention to it, but it happens. You know, And it's interesting on the other end. It's also interesting to see the type of looks that I get in certain cases where they see me and then they expect a certain other thing, and then they don't get it. You know what I mean? Because I've been around both. I can hang out with folks. Look, I make up words every day though. Oh, that's just a black person thing. But like, I can mince words with people who sound like straight up dignitaries, and I can hang out with folks in the hood and talk to them too. And I can have the same conversation, be saying all kinds of different stuff. You know, don't. Yes, white women could get them put in jail though. Yeah, that's true. That is true. But see, actually, it's funny. White women are some of the biggest offenders of code switching. You know what I'm saying? The average contemporary white woman probably does code switch more than we do. And it's because they hold themselves to this unrealistic standard that even they can't reach. Yeah, oh, that Tiffany fake crime. Yes. Yes. Oh, God, yes. Yes. I don't know how many times I say yes. God, look, you don't want to get them around their kids because I swear for God, you know how many people in front of us whenever we do supervised visits and stuff code switch? That's why we have a rule that they can't whisper to the kids. They can't whisper to the kids. They can't do certain things like that because we know what's happening. You know.
Shout out to those of y'all who are just now tuning in. Let yourselves be known. We have a question that's right on the screen. Please respond to it if you will, with a Y for yes or an N for no. We got 6 people in here. Please make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe.
And emphasis on sharing because we're trying to build our listenership. I couldn't think of a word. I can't think of words today.
Build the following.
Look, but anyway, yeah, I ain't gonna front. I code switch a bit. I have to do it for work, you know what I mean? And it's not always just a cultural thing. Sometimes it's a thing of where you put the kid gloves on. You said chameleon's wrong, Nick. You funny. But for real, you're not wrong. But for real, sometimes code switching is done with the intent of, because you know that it might be a sensitive situation where being pragmatic will hurt your chances of actually getting through to that person, you have to code switch a little bit and kind of modify your approach, right? That, and admittedly, sometimes these folk get on our nerves and we can't say what we really want to say. You know, you see people on two different sides of the spectrum. You get ones who just need a little bit of help, and then you get ones that have been in the bottom of the barrel and they ain't planning on climbing out. And you have to approach them differently sometimes. Give me a second. Use the restroom. You can carry on.
This man.
I know you're going to say something sideways.
This man. I told you before this shit went loud. Anyway. Pin that definition for us after the poll, please. Definition of what? Code switching? That was an Urban Dictionary definition, Keontae. If that's what you're asking about. And I haven't decided as far as that goes. I don't think that's what that is, though, sir. But that's a whole nother discussion that we can save for another day. But here, old man. Sir, you were supposed to do that before 8. Thank you. See what happens when you eat Taco Bell before streaming. Thank you. Give him depends he could depend on. They just roasting you, boy. I ain't even saying nothing. I told this. Look. Nah, but I guess my question to y'all is, do you guys think code switching is always justified? Meaning it's always the right move to make or the thing to do. Can it not be problematic in any way, shape, or form? And most importantly, if it can, have you had a situation where you code switched and misread a situation and it led to a problem? I'm only asking because, I was having a discussion the other day, and I might pull up this message. I might pull up this message. It was more so a Facebook meme discussion, because that's how Facebook is these days. And it really made me think, like, are we always better off to have assumptions and let our assumptions dictate how we treat and behave to other people? Is that always a good idea? And can that not be problematic in any way, shape, or form? I feel like it can. And I feel like more oftentimes than not, more than we're willing to admit, sometimes we run into issues with that. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. Look at that. NeRo just posted it. I'm going to pop it on the screen real quick for y'all. Code switch, the practice of alternating between two or more languages or a variety of language and conversation. Now, that's different because that's more so talking about language and vernacular. I feel like when we use code switch, though, we're not just talking about language. A lot of times we're also talking about behavior. And that's the other thing about this term. Since code switch isn't a formal word in the dictionary, right? It's kind of just become a slang term, a phrase that we use to describe something that probably already has a more eloquent or appropriate tone word. I'm going to find out what word that is too, by the way. So I got some things in my head. Kiara says, I'm not saying it can't be a problem, but it has helped me a lot. For sure. It's definitely helped me too as well. But this man really commented on toilet, about to drop his phone. Hey, he on demon time, ain't he? But code switching is different to me because I think it's not code switching when someone completely changes themselves to a T while being around different people. I think if you're still being authentic, cut off some of what you were saying there, Kiki. Authentically yourself, just explaining what you want in a different fashion is code switching. Kiara said, live from the shit of Nick. They grilling you. Fran Brulee. Keontae says, yes, it can be. When it relates to cultural differences outside of being professional, we should have to conform. We should have to conform for the fear of loss of opportunity, threat, etc. Can your fear of something be potentially harmful to someone else, though? We shouldn't have to. Some people don't, at least in the general sense, or they say they don't code switch. I'm one of those type of people where I think that I'm willing to admit that I've code switched before. I'm sure most of us have. But I don't know that I always do it out of this is definitely the right thing to do, and it doesn't have any other kind of consequences or anything like that. I don't even know if half the reason why I do some of it actually truly makes sense, or if it's something that I've been indoctrinated, right, to believe is the only way or the right way to do something, the right way of thinking or the only way of thinking. And I guess for me, I've had more situations, not all, and probably not majority, where I was like, you know what? What real reason, like real logical reason that I have for doing that? Like, did that really make sense? Do y'all ever like question some of those behaviors? Like, you ever code switch off literally some shit that you later on went and thought about and you was like, you know what? It didn't even make sense for me to act like that or be that way. Or maybe I was tripping. Like, I'm sure we've all had that conclusion. And I really think as a culture sometimes, as it relates to black culture, we be on some, we be tripping. We be tripping. It don't even be that. And sometimes it morphs into like assumptions and projections and shit. Where it's like, you don't even know, but you think you know. So now you're trying to do something different. I'll never forget. I remember like, this was like 3-4 years ago. I was at work, working with a customer. And I was a supervisor at that time. And I was getting checked out. And I was like, you know, I got your back. I said something to that effect. And I was like, you know, we got to stick together. And she was like, well, why you say that? And I was like, you know, because we're black. You know what I'm saying? I was like, because we're of the same race. Like, we come from a similar background. She's like, do you know my background now? And I was like, well, technically, if we're being technical, no, I don't. Exactly. And that was kind of her response. To like say that, you know, yeah, we share commonalities. You don't really know me. You don't really know me like that. For all you know, I could be this or I could be that. As it relates to black culture, you know, we have another expression that many of y'all are familiar with, and it goes a little something like this. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. Kiki said, I feel like it was to make us seem more approachable towards others as we tried to navigate through other cultures. Or maybe even coexist, right? Because you know, to kind of blend in or whatever and not be like the sore thumb that sticks out. But it's interesting because it kind of has its backbones in relatability and camaraderie. And the fact of the matter is just that, you know, sometimes, as similar as we may think we are to other people, whether that be because of race, because of gender, because of religious or political affiliations, sometimes we couldn't be more different. And sometimes when we try to, you know, take the approach of, oh, you just like me,
Yeah.
we fall short of actually connecting with someone who don't feel relatable,
Bro.
who feels that they're completely different, completely misunderstood, and feels that, you know, a person may think that, oh, because we share the same skin color, we think alike. And that ain't always true.
No.
You know, black people are not a monolith.
No.
So sometimes, you know, that's not to say code switching doesn't have its places, but all the time, every time, it's not always efficient. And in certain situations, it could cause more issues and disconnects. And I don't know about y'all, but I've had that happen to me the opposite, where somebody didn't really care for that. And honestly, I jumped the gun on thinking I knew something just because we relate or are of the same culture.
Yes, Kiki said it. How we got 4 people on YouTube and only 1 like? It's not enough.
Tell them. You hear that? Like it up. Kiara Rob 25 says,
we need the likes.
I believe we code switch to know who is friend or foe, plus the negative connotations we have culturally.
That is absolutely true.
Kiki said, Once again, how we got 4 people on the YouTube and only 1 like? It's not adding up. Come on, let's get it. Come on, y'all.
But look, man, the truth of the matter is, when it comes to code switching, we do it for a lot of it is a defense mechanism. I do agree that code switching has its place and it shouldn't exceed that place.
Keontae said something really good here. I want to read real quick.
Okay,
He said on Facebook, they're offended because they want to distance themselves from that shared identity. That's interesting.
It's that, and the other part of it, when you're on the receiving end of it, of that relatability-ish, because I've had that before. I'm always, look, the bad part is I'm always waiting for it because of where I work. And there's some cases where legit was in a situation where dude was dealing with this white lady. He was talking all kinds of smack, saying all types of stuff, being rude, disrespectful, all that. I get in the car, I switch out, and then I'm the one dealing with him and his lady and whatnot, and they ain't say too much to me. You know what I mean? He complain occasionally, but he ain't bust no grapes. And a lot of that, you know, me and the lady talked later, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna be real. She's like, don't take this as an offense, and I didn't, because I know it's true. Is that she's like, I think there's 2 reasons why he didn't really say too much to you. It's like, 1, because you're a man, and 2, because you're black. It's like, yeah. I'm like, I already know.
But you know what, though?
Look, the saddest part is, I'll let you finish, but the saddest part is I know my people. And I love my people, but we got to stop doing all that cute stuff where we think that that's where the relatability goes wrong. Because it's like, as soon as you see skin folk, you think that all of a sudden that, in that case, they're like, well, he'll be more lenient and I could be more real with him. He ain't gonna attack me.
Listen to what he's saying.
You know, he ain't gonna attack me.
Listen to what he's saying.
And no, I'm not gonna try and attack you.
That right there.
Attack nobody else.
That right there. And another place where we see this at, right?
And then they get to talking too much and get themselves in trouble. And I'm like,
because I want to build off of what Keontae said. They're offended because they want to distance themselves from that shared identity.
Mm-hmm.
Or, hear me out, there's more to who they are than that shared identity. And that's important. Because the reason why that's important, right, is because I'm more than just my race.
Right.
Just as much as you are, just as much as each and every one of y'all in that chat. And what that may mean is that sometimes I might not agree with the collective opinion of the race or the culture and what have you. Does that mean I'm code switching?
No.
Or what we really more so like to say, does that mean I'm a traitor, a coon,
or that
any of these other words?
Or that you acting too white.
Or that you acting too white? Because remember, that's the thing too, right?
Yes.
Because when we talk about our culture, right? When we talking about our culture, it's a big thing when whatever is the most out there collective or majority opinion that you agree with. And so if you don't, then you're written off as something else.
Yep.
And or sometimes we even hear people say you ain't on code,
or you ain't
conscious,
enough.
You ain't on code.
Yep.
You not acting black, or you acting white, or whatever have you, right?
Right.
So, y'all excuse me, I'm water deprived. I'm pulling a Nero. Normally he'd be the one that's water deprived, but he got his drink today. I don't got mine. He prepared.
But anyway, but it is true. It is true. One thing I'm gonna say is when it concerns matters of business, when it concerns matters of professionality, when it concerns matters of things that involve money or things that just involve getting things done in a proper and right way, don't think that this blackness is gonna change any of this. You know what I'm saying? Seriously.
That's like the I think I'm gonna get a hookup.
Yeah, the
homie. Bro, can I get a hookup?
Come on, brother to brother, can we talk? Look.
And that's another example though, right there, right?
Look, 9 times out of 10, there are certain cases in which it's applicable, but in most cases, when somebody say, well, brother to brother, man, let's talk. They're not about to be what's gonna happen out immediately after, and y'all know I'll try not cuss on here, is it's just gonna be a long stream of bullshit. It's like anytime you say, well, brother to brother, or you get it right.
Hey, yo,
and
my
you
man.
about to say, and you about to say what you about to say. You know I'm at work, and you know that we have specific standards to adhere to, and you about to feed me a line of bullshit that I'm supposed to accept because we look the same.
Right.
Knowing full well that I wouldn't accept that for somebody who don't look like me.
Knowing you put me in that, knowing you've also now put me in a compromising position. Especially if it's at my job.
God forbid if it's at your job and it's in front of other people and it's not just us. But a lot of times they wait until it's just y'all, and they be like, "Hey man, look, I'm just trying to say, man, can you go ahead and make that work?" No. Yes. Kiki said, "I am not acting white. If we take a look back in history, they would speak such improper hillbilly country slang for years. Don't just try to associate being proper with people that had to be taught to watch they act." There it is. Because you know what's funny? In the Victorian era in England was in European history in general, was one of the main times where code switching was abused to the point that it was literally a countrywide standard. And they still didn't know how to wash themselves properly. Versailles was one of the most beautiful palaces this side of the world. And it was full of nothing, but it was full of piss and feces. Folk was nasty. Folk bathed as a luxury.
Bubonic plague.
Yeah. Spreading sicknesses and stuff. Pooping in chamber pots and dumping them out the window. But that's the magnum opus, right? That's the magnum opus. All because they wanted to be around somebody. Capping 101. That's code switching, capping, and cloud chasing. All in one package. If you ever want to understand why capping, code switching, and cloud chasing is not good to do all three at once and too much, bro, you are literally gonna shut up. And look, you are literally going to see a perfect example of why that's a dumb idea. Because when you get to doing that, that means you're gonna be pooping in chamber pots and struggling to go to the bathroom just so you can be cute for somebody who just as ugly as you.
It's because the hair is pulled back.
It is.
That's all that is.
Oh, you got jokes.
4 nods.
That's okay. Wait till the stream done. That's cool. Y'all lucky. I gotta act like I got sense on here.
But I mean, come on, y'all. It can't always be a matter of it is what it is.
Right.
And that's why that's part of this title.
And
because sometimes we have to check that behavior.
Yes. It's a matter of figuring out at what point is it applicable to be that way, and at what point is it not. Because there's a lot of times where you don't need to code switch to look good. You know what I mean? Because code switching can go in the opposite direction. We just talking about like folks like us talking in a proper manner versus talking in natural slang. Sometimes it flips in the other direction.
I'm talking about talking and behavior.
Yeah.
Assimilating.
Sometimes it flips in the inverse when they assume something that you aren't. Because look, man, sometimes you get white folk who do this around us, and it's like, "What's up, man?" Bro, don't do that. It's like, do not do that. It's like one of my supervisors, dude named Gabriel. Somebody thought that this man, I don't know how they got this from Gabriel, but like, he's an Hispanic dude. They said somehow they thought his name was Carlos. Now, does that sound like it starts with a G? Yeah, dog. So and honestly, we've had certain ones. Shut up, Javar. Wait till we get your head in here. They're gonna have a whole panoramic view. Cause I know you shine.
I'm not roasting right now.
Right.
I'm too busy code switching.
Mm-hmm. Hello, it's nice to meet you. Anyway, but look,
I can't say nothing wrong about my black sisters. That would be against the culture.
In public.
And I am a proud black king.
Indeed. Who doesn't have a Twitter? So that means he ain't gonna talk smack about you
or Snapchat. Instagram is just for Black in a Minute. Please go buy a hoodie or a t-shirt.
Yeah. We need.
Sister, you will hurt your eyes if you keep on cocking them like that. Be careful.
Don't do that. It'll get stuck that way. Hold on. How you gonna get on me? I ain't saying nothing. I'm getting the stream shut down. You ain't getting nothing shut down.
Hey, we got 7 people in here. What's happening?
Look, Gary Rob 25 said Paul Mooney was a pro at code switch. That man was the GOAT at code switching. My God.
You know, before I knew it as code switching, one of the terms I used to hear was playing hardball.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to.
A king with a projector at home, my dear.
And there it is. But another version, I don't know if this counts as another version of code switching, but some of the motivational interviewing techniques we learned actually kind of go with that, because sometimes you take what somebody says and you flip it back on them. Because if you let people talk long enough, they'll start telling you too much about themselves, and you just be sitting there like,
tell you who they are.
You know how many things have been admitted to me that I'm just looking like, you probably shouldn't tell me that. You probably shouldn't tell anybody that. I will say this: it's real fun to see how people act when they know that you will document everything they say, or that you will potentially document everything they say.
This is a recorded line.
I literally was dealing with a guy, and his grandfather came out. He's like, well, hold up. I probably shouldn't say that, because he's like, am I going to be worried? Am I going to have to worry that you're going to put this in a document and tell the lady, or should I just tell her directly? I'm like, it's however you want to do it. I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, don't be defensive now. But that's what you notice. People either get very passive, or they get very passive aggressive or defensive whenever they think they're being monitored or they think they're being looked at. And that's a perfect example of code switching. I've seen it, and you can tell when people are capping about it, when they be like, oh, well, yeah, let's go do this. Come on, baby, let's go do this. And the kids kind of looking confused like, who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? It's like you can tell when they're not about it or when they're about it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, don't cap with me, man. For real. What was that song from Kendrick Lamar? You ain't got a lie to kick it.
That was a song.
Everybody needs to listen to that song, because that explains everything. If there's no song that you listen to off of The Pimp a Butterfly, it's that song. He should have really made that a single. Because on everything, that explains everything. Because I've had ones that run up to me, like, and this is the annoying side of code switching, where people do make assumptions on you based on your race, and sometimes it's even your skin folk. I literally had somebody who walked by me when I was going into my apartment and asked me if I knew where some smoke was at. I'm like, dog, if you knew what I really do for a living, you would never ask me that. You would not ask me that. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, bro, it's more so when they follow up with, oh, well, I just figured you would. No.
Or when they're disappointed. How do you not know? I'm like, because I don't smoke, bro.
Kiki says, when was the last time you guys code switched? Why?
I did a little bit today because I was opening a case for a gentleman who I initially thought I didn't know, but actually turned out I actually knew him, because I had shadowed a visit that was done with him. Let me see. There are times where I code switch in text. I will do that. Like, I'll say, I can't tell y'all exactly. I'll try to abbreviate it. Be like, hello, such and such. My name is Nick Sims, and I'll be the one handling your services today. It's like, if you are free today, I would like to meet with you so that way we can discuss things and get you to sign the paperwork. Please let me know when you're available, either today or for the rest of the week. Thank you. And it's really just giving a proper introduction. You know what I'm saying? Now, maybe the way I would have said it if I was comfortable, it'd be like, hey, what's up, man? So I work for this company, and I know that you are in need of some services. So if you can hit me up, let me know when you're free, and I'll pull up on you and we'll get things figured out. I basically said the same thing, but it's just saying it in different ways. You know what I mean? One of them has a bit more of an air of professionality, and that's really all it is. But honestly, the code switching goes away whenever I get pragmatic and real with people, because I don't feel like code switching and pragmatism can exist in the same space. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of times where I'm like, you know what, man? It's like, look, you need to get this together. You need to get this together. You need to get this handled. It's like, this is the reason why you're dealing with what you're dealing with. You know.
Kelton said most days customer service voice. He also said it's only bad when whatever it is you view as negative.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it does, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it does annoy me to deal with certain folks, especially ones, because it ain't even just black folks. Sometimes it's them hood white folks too. They do the same exact thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, you're not about to do all that. Yes, I code switch with my Gary folks. The hooder the more I have to. Being too proper makes them feel some type of way, and I don't understand them, and they start leaving me outside the conversation. Dang, facts. Yeah, that's true.
See, for me, it's kind of. I think I kind of look at it slightly different because, like, I think if code switching is just if by most of y'all definition and viewpoint or perspective, if that code switching is just anything that's slightly different from what's supposed to be your regular behavior, then of course that opens the floodgates to so many things being code switching, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I think I look for a drastic difference because for me, I'm like, I feel like I'm 90% who I always am all the time. Yeah. Now that 10% is primarily at work, but I also view that as a difference of an environment too.
Yeah.
So like naturally, I don't view that as a code switch for the simple fact that like there's no way that I cannot completely be myself in that environment.
Right.
Like regardless of who I'm interacting with at all.
It's just not a thing that is acceptable enough to do.
Like I don't think that there's too many people that exist in life, period, regardless of race.
To some degree.
That don't change up to some degree. So for me, it has to be something like completely polarizing for me to view it as that. Because otherwise I just view it as very normal, commonplace, and I really don't think it needs a term for it. Right. So for me, it has to be something very deliberate, something very extreme. So if I'm thinking like that, the last time when I felt that way was probably for real that way was probably December of last year. I think it was November of last year. And what it was me coming real close to coming out of character. Yeah. And to me, that's more of a code switch thing. Because I'm still me.
But it's a certain aspect of you.
Right. That wouldn't be seen otherwise. Right. And that aspect was, for me, when I say switching, I'm switching from being the professional I need to be at work because it's work.
Right.
Not because I feel I gotta act different to fit in, right. But more so that's what the environment calls for.
Right.
I was ready to smack $5 out that motherfucker. But
yeah,
and the switch that was gonna happen was me switching from being a professional to me being the 90% me. But then I had to realize that this isn't the environment where you do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Little minute changes, those don't register for me as code switching.
And see, the thing,
big things,
right,
do.
I think the thing is that in some cases what we define as code switching really starts as discernment. Look, Kieran Robb said, but I'm not a hood baby. Maybe a few hood ways, but don't go shooting people after being drunk and high. Nigga understands this when I was mad at his
which is a whole nother conversation that I do want to talk to you about. I need to talk to you about that. and that's where we differ, twin, because me, at the core of who I am, disclaimer, those of y'all who know me in a professional manner, it is what it is. Now you're learning some more. Code switch or whatever you call it, what it is. At the end of the day, I'm born and raised in the hood.
Yeah,
so
man.
that is who I am.
Yeah.
The difference though is I wasn't in the streets.
Right.
Now I'm putting some of y'all up on game who don't know the difference. Because there's a difference between a hood motherfucker and a street. They different.
Yeah,
They're not the same. You can be both, but not everybody is both. And I'm not both.
No.
But I say that to say, if you know me as an individual, completely, not you know me in a certain space,
right,
but you know me all around, then you know that about me. So naturally, it ain't gonna look like any type of switch or anything different because that's me.
It's a natural transition.
You're right. It's a natural transition that's understood. Because typically when we talk about code switching, we really are talking about people acting different than who they are.
In an unnatural sense, yeah.
Right. But for the most part, like most people, don't really code switch. They is who they is.
Right.
However, they do understand that like that phenomenon goes beyond code switching is pretty much what I'm saying.
Yeah. Like sometimes it is what we see as a lack of code switching is actually a lack of discernment. Because you deal with a lot of people, and I've had to deal with a lot of people and tell them to play the game. And what they don't understand is what I'm saying is, which I initially said that to a dude who used to be an athlete. So I was like, look, and he's a gamer. I was like, look, don't fight this thing like a war. Play it like a game. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the truth. The literal thing is, you have to have discernment. And what discernment is, you know what? We actually just going to get the terminology. Since we're doing terminology today, we're going to do terminology. Because I have my own hood baby to decide.
Twin says, everyone believes I'm sweet and nice, but when I'm on my level, watch out.
Run.
Yeah.
Run quickly.
But also when they know you.
It's funny when they do see that side of you and they're shocked.
But you know what though?
That's interesting.
Because here's the thing, right? Some of us are authentically who we are too as well. I think sometimes in the culture we get that shit misconstrued too. Like basically what I'm saying is that like you supposed to be on 10 24/7.
Right.
No. That wouldn't make sense in any context.
No.
So even when I'm calm, I'm still being myself.
And the problem is
there's no switching of the code.
Right. There's some people who do exist on 10 all the time. They act the exact same way all the time, which is cool, except they act the exact same way, and half the time they disrespectful and out of pocket. But discernment is the ability to judge well. And when I say discernment, I mean understanding when is time for you to be on 10 and when you need to dial it down to 5.
You know what I call that?
Who deserves getting your energy?
But besides discernment, you know what else I refer to that as?
What?
Situational awareness.
Yes. Spatial awareness, situational awareness. Because in a lot of cases, there are things that I have to explain to certain people in a certain way in order for them to better get it. Like, case in point, I was actually talking to him. This might actually be a topic. Y'all might let me know if you want to. One thing that I've noticed in my line of work is that even though this applies to all parents to some degree, fathers, dads especially, when you say things to them concerning their parenting style, when you talk about them concerning any level, especially discipline, about what they do with their children, there is an instant hint of offense that kicks in inside, because at that point you have attacked their pride or something of that nature. You know what I'm saying? There'll be ones who dang near about to fight you and prove you right for everything you just said because they're mad. But a lot of it is because as men, we don't always develop discernment. We don't always develop, and we also don't always develop an open mind, especially if we've been doing a certain thing for so long. So when it comes to certain things, like certain things I do, me talking proper is not code switching. For me, talking proper is not code switching because I started out talking proper. I was the kid that they said talk white, and I didn't realize what talking white even meant until I was in seventh grade.
And see, you saying that kind of makes me think back just to the phrase code switching. I think, and this is why I say, we would just be coming up with shit and ascribing things to it. And sometimes it's not a consistent definition.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that
Kiki funny, she said, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel as though I've been the same 24/7 unapologetically, for better or for worse. Yes,
exactly. But I feel like when we say code switching specifically, I think when we're talking about code switching, and by we I mean black cultures talking about code switching, I'm pretty sure the switch up of the code is relative to being black versus acting not black.
Or in another case where it was literally code switching is when we would utilize slang terms in order to talk about things that we weren't comfortable saying around white folk.
Right, but and in that example too, it still goes back to a cultural race thing, right?
Yes.
Like that element of it is relevant to what we're talking about, which is why I say things like situational awareness and stuff like that. I didn't grow up hearing the term code switching. That was something that I came across in this modern time as an adult. I don't remember nobody using that term 10 years ago. And I say that to basically say this, right? Mm-hmm. I think that, in this day and age, we love ascribing, phrases to things,
right,
to make them more clear to us. But I feel like in ways, it ain't that much more clear. And so a lot of things get swept under the umbrella that is code switching, right, but ain't code switching at all.
Right.
So if code switching has any congruency with staying on code, is the code not associated with blackness and black culture? Because if it is, then code switching would be anything that would basically be opposite of being your black self, instead of being yourself.
Right.
Right?
Or doing things that would blatantly deny your black self. And the problem is we become so hyper aware of that stuff that we really do think that anybody who talks too proper is being too white. And the thing that I've realized even about myself is that I cringe at two particular things almost naturally when it concerns us. And sometimes I do this with white people, but I mostly do this with us. Is that I either cringe when somebody's acting too much like a hood baby, and I'm talking like to the point where it's excessive, or when somebody is being excessively proper, and you're just looking at them and you're like, you actually have to fix your mouth a certain way to talk that way. So I know that you lying. And I know that you're really not that proper. Or I know that you're really not that ghetto all the time. You just do that because of the niggas you hang out with.
But see, and that's my problem with the shit. Right. That's where my problem comes in with this shit.
I be having to get that in the back.
Y'all, I'm about to go into rant mode.
Look,
that's my problem with this shit. Right. That right there, what you just highlighted. Right. Because
it reaches an extreme.
It reaches an extreme. 1. 2. And most importantly, there's always the question of, is that appropriate? Mm-hmm. And is that not problematic?
Right.
And that's the thing, like, and if you being too ratchet.
Street folks are a bit much, but it's a difference between being a bit much and putting on because you think that I'm a nigga that ain't from around that area and I'm not gonna understand you.
Showing out.
Yeah, that show and tell stuff. Yeah.
Showing out, causing scenes.
Yes.
And that kind of stuff.
Or being overly dramatic when it's not applicable.
Because you think I won't turn up on you.
Right.
We be attaching shit. And this is why we have to be careful of stereotypes. Yes. People be getting so mad at generalizations, but don't be having no smoke for stereotypes. And generalizations are primarily mostly rooted in data and statistics. Stereotypes are not. But y'all have all the smoke for the generalizations. Well, everybody's not like this or everybody's not like that, even though the generalization doesn't tell you that. But then with the stereotypes, we want to grab onto the stereotypes. We want to hug. Oh yeah, that's straight up black folks right there.
I mean, that's the truth. And that's the biggest thing. Yes, always trying you. And this is my thing. You're like, get this man his soapbox and his bullhorn.
I swear.
Look, but it's the truth. Look, one thing I had to explain to a kid, because I wish I could get this kid to talk to you, because I think that you two would connect. Because, not to put you on a box, but he's a bigger dude like you. He's tall. He's 14. He's naturally tall, and he's naturally bigger because he does football and stuff.
Okay.
So he looked like he dang near 20, but he's 14. The thing about it is that he ends up in a lot of situations where he has to deal with anger because he has anger issues, and he gets pushed into situations where ones who are smaller than him or other ones will try to provoke him, and try to push him. And it's like, look, man, you don't have to always do that. Don't respond to everything. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're like that, they look at you like an adult because he's one of us too. And that, look, one thing, and I think actually you said this, and it goes back to other extremes. It's like, if you are somebody who's significantly bigger or taller, or somebody who is significantly smaller, folk will try you just based off of your appearance, just to see where you stand at and what you about.
Oh yeah. There's a definite like sizing up that happens, and you got to remember, like, I used to tell people,
I done got used to it to where I don't even pay attention to it no more.
There are people like that happens on both sides of the spectrum. As little as we think it happens to the other person, because you might be thinking if it's the smaller person, oh, well, ain't nobody gonna mess with him. He's a little guy. No,
you're funny.
Everybody mess with him. Or on the other side of the thing, you like, oh, ain't nobody gonna mess with the big dude. Oh, sure. There's a lot of cocky motherfuckers that think they can just, I'm just about. A lot of people trying to have they David moment. But what? I ain't Goliath.
You know what's funny?
I'm not Goliath.
You know what's funny about that?
I will fuck you up.
Look, tell me.
And that's the kind of energy that everybody needs to have.
Nigga. Look, hey, here's the funniest thing. Because we've both been through this in different iterations. I remember, as much as I don't like the show Teen Titans Go, they brought up a valid point where it said it's like if I'm supposed to establish trust in a new group and I'm trying to pretend I'm a villain, all I got to do is pull up, find the biggest dude in the group, beat the hell out of him, and then that will establish a level of respect amongst everybody else. Then I can introduce myself. If that ain't the truth.
But yet in the same token, right?
Yep. She said, yep.
If that motherfucker beat the shit out of you,
right,
ain't nobody gonna say nothing.
Right.
It works both ways.
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing about that.
Right.
It works both ways.
Because on either way it establishes dominance. Yep. It's one of them things where you can literally get done a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like, so with me, there's been situations where people have pulled up on me, or I've had to say something to somebody, and they try to square up with me like they gonna do some shit. I'm like, don't let that hype fool you,
man.
I will still hurt you. Like, I don't like, and that's why I've had to tell people. I'm like, bro, I've dealt with big niggas all my life. That don't scare me. That doesn't intimidate me. And honestly, if you take it the right way and you're assured of yourself, look. Intimidation doesn't happen for you. Like, I deal with dudes who I have dealt with dudes at my job, not just this job, but even when I was working retail, who would intimidate the ever-living hell out of everyone else but me. And that's not me saying that as a cocky thing, but I was even told at work, it was like, the way you carry yourself, we can tell that you're the type of person that you're a bit more confident in yourself. They won't try to intimidate you.
Oh, if you know, you know.
Right.
I'm telling you now, you told me that about myself a few years ago. Yeah. And I always knew this about myself. It's a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
Sometimes some people have this aura, this energy about them.
That just lets you know.
where you know, when they walk in the room
Yeah.
or when they say something, people stop.
Yeah.
And they either stop to listen and or hear, and or
They stop to see what you're about.
they stop to see what you're about. And sometimes they do that out of respect. Sometimes they do it out of fear.
Or sometimes it's both.
Sometimes it's both. And usually, for some of those same people, it invokes a level of uncomfortableness within them. They're insecure.
Right.
And why does this matter? Because when we talk about code switching, a lot of people talk about code switching for survival. So we got to understand that there's many different situations in which one would code switch, right?
Right.
And it's important that we highlight the different situations, the use case for it, code switching,
right,
when and when not to do it, and just to be careful, because some of y'all be code switching and acting like totally different people than who you really are, misreading the situations, making assumptions, and ultimately making bad judgment calls.
Yes. Because I've had a lot of people just based off of my stance and how I talk, how I carry myself, be like, man, I thought you was going to be a completely different person, and you turned out pretty cool. I mean, yeah.
And they say that so nonchalantly as if, now mind you, if you're strong-willed, that don't hurt you. But when you look at the principle of that, that's like a backhand compliment.
It is.
Because you're basically saying, you say you thought less of me until you actually got to know me.
Or in another flip side, this is the cute one that I get. In my line of work now, especially now, I used to get it in retail as well, where have you ever had somebody give you a compliment in deference to someone else? Where they be like, you know what, man, you a good worker, you be working hard, but not like, unlike Timmy, man. Timmy be getting on my damn nerves. I'm tired of that man. I'm just start talking to you. I'm glad I'm working with you, and I've literally had that, and it's like, yes, when you got to dim your light because you too bright, coming off is too much. It isn't my fault. They basic. Yes, I'm showing that one. But for real, like there have been times where I've had to look at people and be like, hey, don't take my meekness for weakness. I will still report you. Like I will still be very pragmatic with you. I'm nice because I like being nice. I'm just a nice person. But that does not mean that I can't be pragmatic and I can't be straightforward with you, And there was cases where people have done that, and I knew full well who the person was, and I knew they was lying. And I'm like, I know your track record, and I know his track record, and I know he's not like that. You're saying that to try to butter me up, to make me feel like I shouldn't say anything sideways to you for the rest of this because you said something nice about me. Because sometimes people will say nice things about you to keep you from saying something mean about them because they know it's coming.
Kiki said, when you gotta dim your light because you too bright, coming off is too much. It isn't my fault.
They base.
Facts.
Look, look, my thing is there's one girl I work with. There's a lot of people, clients who don't like her. And the reason is she's not a mean person. She's not a bad person, but she is very pragmatic and she's very blunt. You know what I'm saying? She is one of them types. She is very blunt, straight to the point. Be like, here, this is what you need to do. This is what you got to do. This is what you need to do with the kids, blah, blah, blah. Why don't you go ahead and handle that? You know what I mean? And they get offended by that.
That's why I always tell folk, sometimes you just got to listen to the words.
Yes.
Like too many times we jump off emotion first without listening to what people are actually saying. Right. Like, am I actually saying something that's disrespectful to you? Right. Or is that how you're taking it? And there can be a difference between those two things. Yes. Because one thing if I tell you to shut the fuck up.
Right. Because that's
versus
direct.
If I say,
hey man, chill out for a little bit.
Hey, can you relax for a second? I'm trying to talk.
Right. Just give me a minute.
I'm not being disrespectful.
Right.
By asking you to relax for a moment and let me speak.
I'm saying exactly what I said. Just relax for a moment, let me speak.
But somehow that gets communicated as shut the fuck up.
But you know why? Because a lot of people are very insecure and they treat anything where they are being shut down as an affront to their pride. There are a lot of people in the world, and a lot of those type of people are used to bulldozing their way through a lot of things or intimidating their way into a lot of things. So as a result, they become hypersensitive. And the moment that you say anything that might be construed as an attack in any way, they coming at you with full force to let you know you shouldn't say anything. Just shut the fuck up and let me do what I want to do, even though you want to do what you want to do. It's my castle. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and some of them I've had to look at it like, look, man, I don't respond to that. I don't respond to threats. I don't respond to intimidation. I don't respond to none of that. I come here to do my job or do whatever it is I got to do, and then that's the end of it. You know what I mean? And that's whether I'm at work, that's whether I'm doing something involving music, that's whether I'm on this platform. The simple fact is, you know, you're not going to intimidate me. Like, that's not what I do.
My thing is always, you know.
Yes, look, Kiki said, definitely let everyone I have ever worked with that so long as what you do does not directly affect me, I don't care what they do. There it is.
I've always been a firm believer, if it ain't directed, it ain't respected.
Exactly that.
I had to grow up to have a certain level of self-control just based off of my environment.
Right.
So it didn't take me that long to learn that people was gonna say things, people was gonna try to do things. You know, if they ain't directly trying to hurt you
or come at you,
you shouldn't be worried about what they gotta say.
Basically, don't perceive it as a threat until it is one.
Yeah, like until somebody's swinging at your face
or acting like they gonna swing at your face,
like you really don't need to sweat it that much.
Right.
Like you'll waste your breath speaking to people.
9 times out of 10, it's not that deep.
I literally, maybe a few months ago, had a situation like that where somebody felt the need to indirectly say something sideways.
Oh, that's
referencing me, but not directly referencing me. Of course, I know the context because I interacted with the individual.
Right. So it's like,
but wouldn't put some stank on it. You feel me?
Right.
And I looked at it for what it was. I saw it as the only thing I can see it as, which is hoe ass shit, because that's just how I interpret that.
I mean, it's true.
But beyond that, I didn't do nothing with it. I didn't go see the person.
You don't have to.
I didn't comment on the post. I didn't do none of that because, in my mind, if you ain't brave enough to put some stank on it, or if you ain't straightforward enough to say something and actually do it, put action behind your words, you ain't about nothing. And I don't respect that.
Look, and you know what I always tell them? I always say, I'm like, look, you have to we all have a limited amount of energy for every day and everything that we go through. We have to determine how much of that energy we plan on spending on people and different things. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
And that's something where if you can't say something directly to me, because I'm the same way as you, if I don't care who you are, you know, man, woman, child, whatever, if you don't have it in you to say it directly to me, and you don't have it in you to say it to either to my face or say it with my name, it's not worth it's not only not a factor, it's also not worth my energy. And I can let you continue, and you can continue to think however you want to think.
I'll be in jail for life somewhere.
Look, until it's time for you to come talk to me.
I'll be in jail for life somewhere.
Yep.
If I reacted off of every time somebody tried me.
Bro, I would never have a job.
I'd be in jail.
I'd
be in jail or dead.
I'd never have a job.
I know I would.
I'd probably be in. Admittedly, I probably would have had a record as long as I would have had a record long.
Or I'd be a fugitive. Because I don't even believe in going to jail.
Look.
Yeah.
I'd have been in YCC, all them things, man. Because I had an angry streak.
All of that.
Look,
all of that, bro.
I had an angry streak, so that would have been ugly.
All of that.
For real though.
I value my freedom. I value my freedom more than all of that.
Thank you. I value my freedom. I value what I do more than all of that. Everything that I have. And that's what I try to tell people. It's like, look, what is more important? Your pride or whatever this is? Whatever you feeling right now. Because your little feelings ain't going to do nothing for you. You know what I'm saying?
Feelings are fleeting.
But opportunities are even more fleeting.
Lead with logic. Reference feelings.
Look,
that's how you should do shit.
But it's always good and establish boundaries. Just like what we talked about, establish boundaries. Because yes, Garrow25 said, yeah, them disclaimers are real. I tell people don't use the B word because there's fighting words for me. Look, the thing that I always find funny is that because a lot of black folk apparently have a history of being offended whenever anybody says the word black who ain't black, it's funny. It's almost amusing how much people will cringe when they say the word black around me. And I'm like, bro, I don't care. Like, I really don't care. I know what I am and I know what I do. So I'm not really worried about any connotation you would attach to that. You know what I'm saying?
See, you know, I'm getting real better as a grown person to just get to the point where I might even argue with someone. Mainly if I get into an argument of any sort, it's probably with a woman, just because I don't believe in hitting women and I don't believe in talking to men about my problems with them, except for one time. Yeah. We can talk about something one time. I'll be like, yo, if we need to talk, we can talk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if you don't feel we need to talk,
then we don't.
There's nothing else that needs to be said. I'm not gonna argue with another grown ass man.
No.
We gonna talk this out like grown men, or we gonna step outside. Right. That's it.
Well, and that's my main thing. It's like, look, if you're a grown adult, especially a man, and I'm a grown adult, then we should be able to talk to each other like grown adults, correct? You should. I have an expectation, and I know sometimes this doesn't happen because some people have behavioral issues, intellectual disorders, or anything of that nature. Maybe you hit your head as a baby. I don't know. But in most cases, in 8 out of 10 cases, you should have the basic understanding of how to properly communicate if you are a full-grown adult, right?
Yeah.
So if you have that basic understanding of how to communicate as a full-grown adult, and I have a basic understanding of how to communicate as a full-grown adult, then why on God's green earth are you sitting there subtweeting me in real life?
Right. Like, I'm not.
Like, no. Because here's my thing, and this is just me. One of the things that I have actually gotten good compliments about in every job that I've been in is my approachability. Is that you can talk to me. You can approach me. I make people feel comfortable to talk, and communicate. So why, if you know me, especially if you know me, why would you think that you can't approach me with a problem or with a concern? I'm the last person you should think, like, by that definition of what other people have said, I am the last person that you should think that you can't talk to.
I won't say this too real quick. This is a disclaimer. This is a disclaimer for all the snakes in the grass. Hell, it might be a snake in the grass on this stream. I need y'all to know something. When you deal with people that are mostly light and at least considered solid or respectable to most people,
right?
If you say anything behind their back to someone else, understand that will come back to them.
Yeah, it always will.
It always will. And then them, depending on how that person handles things,
they probably gonna say
they may approach you.
Yeah.
And if you didn't want that smoke in the beginning, because you clearly didn't, because you couldn't say it to them, then please don't write a check with your mouth that your ass can't cash. Because some of us haven't left our hood and street ways, and we still with the shits. Now, I'm not one of them. I am a changed man for the most part.
He's delivered.
Well, technically, I'm not supposed to say I'm that, but he's
getting there.
I'm in a different place than what I used to feel. And I had to develop a thick skin. Growing up in the streets of Chicago, the projects of Chicago, had to.
Yeah.
So what did I equip myself with? Knowledge and my mouth. I know how to speak. I think good.
You know what?
I know nothing, but I know something.
Right. You know what's funny about what you just said?
So my words is sharp enough that I don't really have to use these too often. My mind and my words are sharp enough.
You know what's funny about that? I actually had a lady who I was dealing with say this, and she was talking about the concept of what practical reason would a man have for trying to beat on a woman, right? And she said that one of the examples that one dude gave her about why he was trying to be aggressive towards a certain woman, he was like, well, she got a mouth. And she's like, she's a woman. Every woman to some extent, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, because she's like, every woman to some extent has a mouth on them, right? She's like, we are not always as physical with men or can get on their level physically. So sometimes that's our weapon. It's like we got a mouth. We might say something that can hurt you. We can't beat you up all the time, but we can say something that'll crush your little feelings or hurt your feelings. And it's like, why would you sit there and be defensive about that when you know that that's what weapon we have? Ain't nobody really hurting you. And I'm like, I kind of get what she's talking about. Like
shaky.
Yeah, look, that's shaky, but I will say it in this case. Let the punishment fit the crime. You ain't got to sit there and beat the hell out of no woman just because she got a mouth on her.
No, you don't.
And also, as an adult, if you can't handle that, move on somewhere. Go find something to do. Go find something to do besides sitting there and letting yourself get mad to the point where you want to beat somebody up and then sit there and be like, I just lost my temper. You know, she shouldn't have tried me. No, your dumb ass should have went somewhere. Understand? Look. It ain't nobody's job in this world to understand you but you. It is nobody's responsibility. I don't even care if it's your spouse. It is nobody's responsibility to fully understand you and everything about you but you. And if you don't understand it, then why the hell do you think somebody else will?
I think that's also why you gotta set boundaries.
Yes.
I'm hoping that woman that made that speech also doesn't believe in domestic violence for either person, because
right,
I don't want to get in the gray area of what people should and shouldn't be doing based on what they're capable of.
Although I ain't gonna cap, the dude that she with, she probably should smack upside the head.
Because this is my thing. I let a woman know from the jump. I personally don't believe in putting my hands on a woman.
Nope.
With that being said, though, don't put your hands on me.
Right.
And, you know, in a world where we love talking about equality and shit like that, stuff like that should be universally understood.
Right. Ooh, Kiki said it. He personally didn't like the receipt she had on him. Looked in the mirror and it didn't like his reflection. That truth hit different, because if it was true, he wouldn't be bothered. And there it is. I've been in situations where I've talked to people like that, and you can see their mannerisms and their demeanor change when you hit them with something that actually either hurts or catches them off guard. Because here's my thing. One thing that I learned with talking with people, especially for extended periods, this is why a lot of people don't like to talk for long periods of time. You know why? It gets harder to keep up a facade of control and a facade of understanding and a facade of knowledge whenever you're in an extended conversation. You know why? Because you start forgetting what you said before. And if somebody is perceptive enough and pays attention to what you're saying and brings it back to your understanding, you eventually start running out of things to say as a rebuttal that aren't the truth.
That's why, you know,
and eventually you just start telling the truth.
As it relates to people being physical and stuff like that, that's why I always tell, you know, I try to tell women, especially as a grown-ass man, because I've said this more than once, don't depend on no man to not hit you because you think or you expect him not to hit you because hitting you would be wrong. Don't be the woman that hits the man.
Please don't.
Don't do that. Don't bank on thinking he thinks like that, especially if y'all haven't had that conversation.
Well, and
you shouldn't put your hands on nobody as an adult. Anyway, understand that. There shouldn't be a because don't justify fuck behavior, no matter what sex.
Right.
We try to find gray areas for that shit, and we really shouldn't.
No.
Like, don't do none of that shit. Stay away from all of that. Right. You don't want nobody putting their hands on you. Please also make sure you're not putting your hands on them.
Yes.
Don't play that game with people. Because hey, shit, nowadays motherfuckers ain't even putting hands on. They killing folks.
Right.
They grabbing weapons.
Folks is getting killed for less. Folks is getting killed for less. And here's my main thing. Ain't nothing that you got to do or no problem that you need to solve that is worth swinging on nobody. Because if you look. Because here's my thing. I've known men to be in domestic violence situations with women. So we got to understand that some of these behaviors and stuff go beyond gender. Yes. They're all about personality. Oh type. Yeah, there's some women who will beat the snot out of a man.
People do what they do. And if it's wrong, it's always wrong.
Mhm.
Remember, never make no exceptions to that, because that's when we let other bullshit slide in like that.
I had a music teacher tell me this, and I always misquote it, but I'm gonna say I know I always
Misquoting for the umpteenth time.
I'm just telling the truth. He said, "There's two things in this world that you should understand. One, never assume that anybody close to you is not capable of hurting you.
Woo!
And number two is never assume that you are not capable of hurting someone close to you.
Exactly.
Never assume that.
That's it.
Because the simple fact is, it goes back to that same concept of never be pretentious enough to think that somebody is going to magically change because of you. That's a choice that they have to make. Never assume that you're incapable, because and the reason I say that thing of never assume that you're incapable of hurting somebody is the moment that you assume that you are incapable of hurting someone you care about, you will. You will. I promise you will. Because of the simple fact that you are not checking yourself for the possibility that you might hurt somebody. And you're just doing what you do. And in a lot of cases, that's how some of that stuff starts. Be like, oh, well, we were just playing. She don't know what she's talking. No. Get an understanding first of what you're doing and what you ain't doing. I love how this switched up from what we were talking about. But it's nice. Because it's valid. It's valid, though, because of the simple fact that, look, I do personally feel like everybody should be allowed to feel somewhat comfortable in their interactions with everyone. You should have a level of comfortability about that. However, do not, if certain aspects of what you are every day is not applicable to your situation, do not try to force a circle peg into a square, okay?
No, yeah, you need to leave. Things that do not serve you, you need to not deal with.
Right.
Save yourself.
And things that aren't prudent to say or do, you shouldn't be doing anyway. Because you should have what? Discernment.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with you not being yourself, and everything to do with you having some damn sense.
Maybe that's gonna be a future episode as well. Discernment.
Yeah. Because here's my thing. Here's one that I've always heard. Where look, that's just the way I am.
Or it is what it is. And that's not always okay.
No, you know why that's not always okay? You know why? And here's the truth.
That is facts, Kiki. I'm gonna highlight that.
Yeah, I was about to too. There it is. The people you care about be the main ones that can hurt you because of the fact that you care and they know what could trigger you. Exactly. Look, man, beyond that.
They know your ins and outs.
Yes, and they know how to piss you off. More importantly. But here's the main thing. When it comes to discernment, and it comes to a lot of other things, like I take that's just the way I am as an excuse for having a lack of self-control. Because here's my thing. That darn gnat has been bothersome me. But here's the main thing about that. Okay? Nothing about being yourself has anything to do with being belligerent. Nothing about being yourself has anything to do with being unnecessarily rude, disrespectful, uncouth, or unprofessional, or really just not knowing when to shut the hell up. Like, no cap. Not knowing when to just leave well enough alone. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, Babylonian Savage. If someone tells you they would never hurt you, that's a red flag. Something I should have said last week. There it is. Because you know what because the truth is, it's a lie. That is a lie.
Babylonian Savage.
Because Babylonian Savage, that demonstrates that they truly don't have an understanding of what could potentially hurt you. Because we don't always know what can hurt somebody else. We can do something innocently and hurt somebody else.
That's right.
And a lot of times we do. Because
we don't know everything.
No.
We don't know everything.
No.
You arrogant as hell to think otherwise.
And you arrogant as hell to think that you won't be able to hurt somebody, that you're not, that's not possible.
He wouldn't hurt a fly.
Right.
Shit. Kill 10 of them today.
Or one that I've heard where it's like, well, she already knows what it is. You know, they already know what it is. Everyone is capable of hurting someone. Not knowing that capability is more ignorant than knowing you can, but not knowing when to stop.
Oh, hold on. You know what?
Ooh.
You gonna make me pull up this damn post.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. I like that. But yeah, for real. Discernment can be a part of who you are, okay? Discernment can be a good add-on to who you are. Don't just use that's just the way I am, or that's just who I am.
That ain't good enough.
Look, as an excuse for the fact that you are emotionally immature.
Yeah, or problematic, because we hear that too many times. A lot of y'all will admit
that's just
to having flaws.
Yes.
A lot of y'all will admit to having flaws, and then in the same sentence say that's just who I am, as if you don't need to do any work.
Mm-hmm.
But you have flaws. You have things that are problematic about you.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you need to work on those?
Look,
why should somebody just be doomed for eternity to deal with that?
Right.
That version
to
of
deal
you?
with just you.
What the fuck kind of shit is that? And then
why
people
you
talking about
yourself?
Folks talking about oh, well, this person can't handle me, or they not mature enough. Motherfucker, you got some destructive behaviors.
Here it is. Embracing flaws and accepting flaws are two damn different things. Boy, you preaching. Look.
Like what?
Look, because here's the thing, and I've heard that. It was like, I need somebody special to handle me. No, you need to learn like you need to learn
handle
how to
yourself.
act like you got some sense to handle yourself. Like I just said, it is nobody's responsibility to understand and handle you but you. Okay? If you looking for a man or a woman to do all that, look, they already got kids.
You in
they
the
don't
wrong,
need to be wait.
Because you're in the wrong place.
Look, you see a lot of couples where the woman or the man is raising the kids and the mama or the daddy.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's like, yeah, he's just like one of the boys. Yeah,
y'all have
like one of the boys.
So many people have romanticized this damn struggle culture and this ride or die culture to where y'all really think somebody just supposed to deal with your fuck ass behavior, especially when half of y'all ain't proactively working on that shit.
Right.
And then you blame everybody else. But you're the constant, not them. Exactly. And some of those people end up getting other people, end up living the lives they want to,
They're
and
not
everything.
Ashy, they just shiny. Leave me alone. I'm just dark. Anyway.
Yet here your ass still in the same place complaining about everybody else.
Exactly.
Something got to give, and it might be time for you to give it.
And look, and thank you. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Look, that is precisely what I'm talking about. When they say, oh, well, you know, I don't need no help. We got to fix. Look, this is one thing I never believe. You know what I never believe? Whenever somebody says this shit, and I've heard this from certain dudes a lot. Oh, it's like, okay, are there any issues that you, like, I'll say it like this. Are there any issues that you and your wife or the lady that you, or the mother of your children have with parenting? Oh, we ain't got no problems. We ain't got no issues. We don't never have no issues. You don't never have no issues. Nah, you ain't never had a conversation about anything that you concerned about. Anything. No. Nigga, you lying. Like, then I be wanting to say it. Code switching. Look, I be wanting to say it so bad. I'm like, I know you lying. Because you know why? Because even the quote-unquote perfect families, a lot of perfect families became perfect because they had to do a lot of talking and sometimes arguing. Look, get someone that supports you fixing you and your flaws, not someone you think is going to magic genie wish those flaws away for you. Woo! Matter of fact, if you in the mindset you need someone to fix you, then you don't need anyone, sir. Woo.
That's correct.
Let's put that one up there.
That's correct. A lot of y'all be looking for things that you need to be building in yourself and others.
Stop trying to use. Look, I keep coming up with phrases because of y'all.
Oh, because it's so easy. It's so easy.
Look. Instead of looking, it's like stop looking for a repair kit in a spouse.
Fix yourself. I mean, it's always been check yourself before you wreck yourself.
No, it's not wait for the right person to check you so that way you get yourself together.
You know, a lot of people, especially a lot of young people in our day and age, really predicate love on some of those dynamics. Yeah. That somebody is supposed to come and make you happy. That you ain't supposed to be of a decent, healthy well-being, because what we don't realize is that the people we choose to involve ourselves with, whether they want to or not, they become a part of it.
Yes.
So now someone is not just suffering with you, they may be suffering because of you.
Yeah. Look, I'm glad we both went that
Come
same
on.
way. Displacement at its finest. Yes.
Y'all got like we gotta realize that shit.
Yes.
Sometimes
you reveling in your suffering, and they're dying trying to stick with you. In love with the potential of the person instead of the actual person.
Come on.
Look, and it's true.
We got to do that. Remember, it goes both ways.
Yes.
If you're the person asking somebody to take you flaws and all, understand what the fuck that is you are really asking them to do.
Yes.
And on the flip side, if you're the person that's trying to figure out if that's what you want to do, ask the person, what all does that entail? And
beyond that, don't assume that the person that's supposed to be the fixer is supposed to be perfect and not have any emotions or have any emotional problems. Because guess what? They may just have as many issues as you do.
And what we're ultimately talking about,
keeping it concealed.
When you put these things together, what we're ultimately talking about, y'all, is understanding.
Yes.
Because when you have an understanding, as we like to say sometimes in the culture, right? You understand, brother, sister, you overstand what is going on here. And when you do that, you react less to the hooligans and the whatchamacallits and the thingamajigs, because you understand the dynamic of the who, what, when, where, and why, brother, sister, my queen.
Look. What was it? Hold up. It was something that I saw on. Shout out to Gianna. She's actually having a sale on some of her designs and stuff. She's the one who actually designed our logo. We'll link her stuff in. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that here in a second.
Comments.
But what was it that she posted? I'm trying to find it because it was so heavy. It was actually heavy. And I was like, you know what? I feel that. Where is it at, bro? I'm so mad I can't find this. Oh, here it is. First, I thought communication was key, but it's really comprehension.
Yes. Which comprehension is what? Is understanding. Yes. Because a lot of times you be communicating, but it's going nowhere.
Right.
Like, and that's why I hate rant time.
We communicate all the time.
We
talk all the time.
Look, I hate when people say communication is the issue. No, y'all are talking. Y'all talk 24/7. Y'all not talking about nothing, and y'all don't understand where each other are coming from.
And look, and sometimes what it really is, oh, they're communicating all right. You not receiving the signals. Every single time she's sitting there looking at you like this. Look, sitting there doing. Let me take my glasses off of this. Look, sitting there looking at you like this, doing this face. And then when you start noticing, she'd be like,
"That's why I'm a firm believer."
Or he'd be like, "That's communication. That has nothing to do with comprehension."
That's why I'm a firm believer in meeting people where they are. Speak to me like a fourth grader, and that's why I'm a firm believer in being straightforward with people and transparent. Be honest.
Look, here's
enough people haven't. The whole reason we call it brutally honest is because enough people haven't been honest in the first fucking place.
And it hurts.
So it feels like it's coming from a place of anguish, from a place of evil. And it hurts because nobody ever told your motherfucking ass the truth. So now your mind is being blown by some shit you never heard before.
Yes.
When you should have been hearing it the entire time.
Yes. Hold up. Kiki said, gotta bring all the baggage to the table to see if we able to bear the weight of it combined. But I got it back. Know thyself and be honest. Yes. And that's the main thing. A lot of people can talk. Look, here's one thing. A lot of people that talk too good about themselves or oversell themselves are the ones who really don't know what they are. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people will have a better assessment of who you are than you ever will. Let's see. Also backtracking the code switch. Babylonian Savage said, also backtracking the code switching. I stream and promote my art. Shameless ass plug. Go ahead and post the link, dog. Ain't no shameless plugs here. Look. So I can't conduct myself in front of potential clients and people of my following the same way I conduct myself on the streets or with those who know me, but at the same time, there is a difference between switching up and getting lost in a mask juggle. Woo.
Right. The difference between putting on a facade and what we call code switching.
Right.
But it really is just situational awareness, in my opinion.
You know what's funny as hell?
Because it ain't just tied to being black.
Hold up.
It's tied to navigating life.
We about to. Oh, she said I got a bad back. I'm dead. But I didn't know what you were saying with that. I thought you were saying your back strong. I don't know. But hold up. You know what's funny? You remember the old Broly movie? You remember the beginning when they had Goku in that, when Chi-Chi had Goku in that suit and was sitting there trying to feed him lines of what he was supposed to say to the teachers? You remember when she was like, okay, so what do you say when they ask you, what are your hobbies? He's like, fighting strong opponents. She's like, you can't say that. You're supposed to say, my hobbies are reading and sports. You know what he said back? He's like, oh, I get it. This is some sort of line contest, ain't it? And sometimes for a lot of people it is. You know what I'm saying? You should not, and I say that to say this. Code switching should not be a contest of who can lie better if it's used properly. Code switching should still be a reflection of what you are. It's just a different aspect or a different variant of what you are. Yeah, Javar, you remember that? Look, dog, that cracked me up so bad.
Was that in Super?
No, that was in the first Broly movie.
Oh, in the Broly movie. Okay.
Yeah, when they was in that interview for Gohan, look, he's like, this is some sort of line contest, ain't it? He's like, and I cracked up at it as a kid, but when I really became an adult, I was like, dang.
A lot of people get lost in the sauce. Kiara 25 said that's because a lot of them like the taste of the sauce. Mm-hmm. They greedy. They distracted.
Or a lot of them just like to dump sauce on something and eat it like they actually like the thing instead of the sauce.
Babylonian Savage, if only it was that simple. But if we talk about it, it seems like in when we talk about it as it relates to black culture, or better yet, it seems like black people typically associate it with black culture.
Yeah.
We know, for the most part, that other people, other groups, other races of people code switch.
Yes.
But it seems so that that this is what we refer to it as. And a lot of times when we're talking about it, it's not just how you talk, it's also how you behave.
Yes.
And there's this whole element of there being an actual code or staying on code. And the code is the black code.
Right.
That's what it's become. Conduct yourself, not fuck yourself.
She said, nah, Nick, stay up. Hold up. Nigga, I'm awake. What you talking about?
Wide awake.
Been wide awake. But the simple fact is though, you shouldn't have to lie to me in order to be cool with me. You shouldn't have to front for me in order to be cool with me. And intimidation tactics should not have a place in code switching. Intimidation tactics should not. Kowtowing to anyone should not. You should be comfortable enough to be yourself, but to understand how much of yourself you must donate or present to others. You don't go all cylinders firing off when you're in a car. If a car could have an absolute speed limit of 120 miles per hour, but does that mean you're going to be going 120 miles per hour every time you hop in that thing? No.
That's why
you might go 40 certain places. You might go 50 somewhere else. You might go 70 somewhere else. Or you might go 70 when you're really supposed to be going 55.
But see, man, that's why I don't really even subscribe to the whole notion of code switching, just because I grew up, act like you got some damn sense. And most importantly, there's a time and place for everything. And because of that, it's like with this whole code switching thing, we've tried to remix other things that already existed and tie something very specific to it.
Yeah.
Well, now
when it's now
it's code switching, which is more so this thing that black people do, where they choose to not act as black,
Right.
based off of stereotypes,
Or
primarily when they in
Right.
other environments.
Or when
Because
we overuse slang in order to make it so that other people don't understand what we're saying.
Or when we trying to be DJ Screw. But it's
right.
It's like, yo, like we heard all of those things before a motherfucker was ever saying anything about code switching.
Right.
So why is it even why is it even a thing where the dynamic of what it is has existed far longer than that?
Right.
It just is simply
it's
that.
It's because the English language is one of the most bastardized language in the world. It's just the truth.
That, and because sometimes, man, we be trying to assimilate too many things to, like, we don't, everything ain't got to be a part of Black culture.
No.
It really don't. Especially not a lot of this dumb shit.
It really don't have.
Because then other people take that and they see it for that and they think that it's that too.
And it gets so bad.
And it's like, if you think a lot, if you're of a different, race or ethnicity, and you associate WAP, for example, with the culture, then you're already going to have a predisposition about what you think is us, as from an identity standpoint, but also when you want to assimilate and fit in, that's what you bring into the barbecue. Yo, I got some Cardi B, and everybody looking at you like, some of y'all might be like, yeah, we rock Cardi B, but like, we gonna also look at you like, yo, why are you doing that?
Why now?
Yeah, why now? Why are you doing that? Like, why do you feel the need to? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
And then you acting like the one. So there's definitely this element of culture that we've definitely attached to this whole code switching shit. And we need to dissolve that from that. Furthermore, it doesn't need to be that big of a deal.
Look, and the main thing about
unless it's causing problems and it's problematic thinking and behavior. Because it's not always rational. Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Some of this switch up behavior and shit motherfuckers be doing, it don't always be based on rational stuff. Yeah. Sometimes it be made up spookism and overtly spiritual worldly words and
you're talking about
Hotep-ish.
Hotepian, that Hotepian esoteric.
Oh no, I can't because we don't. And it don't even be that.
Don't overuse esotericism to explain bullshit.
But I'm saying though, because people pull that into it too, right? And it becomes part of the code switching. And it's just like, no. Me behaving the way I am is who I am. This ain't no facade. I'm not switching up how I normally behave. Right. All of this is a part of who I already am.
Right.
I'm just, look, we're not at a fucking party. So no, I'm not yelling and screaming. I'm at work. Yes, I'm using my inside voice.
Right.
There's nothing off code or on code about that.
And here's the thing. Some people be trying to make them, and that's why I speak on esotericism, is because some people be trying to make themselves into a complex equation when they ain't even a complex fraction. All right. You walking around intentional, trying to be an improper fraction on purpose, which is technically code switching. But what I mean by that is stop trying to make yourself more confusing and extra and detailed and what's the complex than when you really aren't. There's no harm in being a simple person. I know that we construe simple and the word simple is something bad or wrong
because simple sounds like basic.
Yeah,
which also
simple sounds like basic, and simple also sounds like a word that we can't say on YouTube that starts with an R. But the simple fact, simple doesn't mean stupid. Just because something is easy to understand doesn't mean it's stupid.
No, it just
means that a stupid person might have a better chance of understanding it. But with that being said, you're even more stupid if you try to make something that's supposed to be simple complex. And humans are consummate professionals at it. Yes, stop trying to be an anime character. You ain't got to have a Goku backstory to be a cool person. Jeez.
Nope. Damn near all you have to do is be likable and respectful.
Actually, be Goku.
That's pretty much it. Just regular.
Like when you
But don't nobody want to be regular though.
look, here's the funniest thing. As much as people love Goku,
Everybody want to be unique.
Right.
I'm different. Everybody different.
Here's that. I'm deep.
Everybody different.
I'm woke.
Right. Everybody different.
Oh,
Everybody woke.
Look, so I guess everybody just sitting there like this.
Everybody different, but everybody ain't the same.
You
What
not
the fuck?
woke.
Look, how everybody can't be different, and everybody can't be the same. So what we doing here?
We're differently similar. No, Goku. Don't be Goku kids fighting folks, people. Oh, no, I'm talking about personality and the fact that Goku is just straight up about who he is. That's what I mean. Like, be like Goku in the way that everybody has all these things to say about Goku, but Goku is just a simple, regular ass dude. Like, if you strip away the superpowers and you strip away the cosmic battles that he's had to go through and all the shit that he's gotten tossed into in his life, he really just a regular ass dude.
Kiki said the respectable part get lost in translation.
Oh,
Kiara said that's that Elmo 2000s era. Ha ha. Bruh.
They did it better and it still sucked. Give up on it. Everybody, look, that's like these people that get like 20,000 tattoos that don't make no sense, even though they ain't got no damn money for anything else. That's probably why they're so skinny.
Got all the tattoos, but broke. He said,
yeah. Do you know how much tattoos cost? Why are you spending your money on all that tattoos? And I know your ass ain't even got a full fridge. Or at least you look like it. Ooh, so be like Naruto, been through all that bullshit and still a genuine regular person with a dream. Yeah. Or you could be Vegeta.
I was literally about to say, or be Vegeta, which is another version of that same thing.
Yeah, but at least he's complex for a reason. Like and that's what I'm saying. If you gonna be complex for a reason. But anything that you can keep simple, just keep it simple.
Yeah. What they
Stop
say,
trying to make
keep it simple, stupid.
Yes, look, stop trying to make it a complex trigonometry equation for me to figure you out when all you got to do is just say what it is.
Meet people where they are.
Thank you.
Not where you want them to be.
Here's an example. For me, I use a lot of large terms. I use a lot of what they call big brain words or whatever you call it, big brain topics and things of that nature. I do talk with a certain level of properness or with a certain level of vocabulary. Does that mean that I should walk up to a bunch of people who only have a 5th grade education and talk to them like a college professor? No. Sometimes the reason that some people are stupid is because they don't know how to turn the proper off. They don't know how to talk to somebody who only got a 5th grade or 8th grade education. They can only talk to the people who are like professors and dignitaries and who are, upper collegiate level.
They're not stupid, though. They're ignorant. That's what they are. They're not stupid. They're ignorant.
No,
they don't know anything.
No, they stupid because they're pretentious enough to think that shit's going to work on somebody who doesn't understand half of what they're saying. Because here's my thing. We would call somebody who's speaking Spanish to someone who speaks Chinese and conveying it to them like they should understand it, we would call them stupid, would we not?
Say that again.
Somebody who only speaks Spanish, walking up to somebody who only speaks Chinese and trying to have a full conversation with them with the full assumption that they understand what they're saying.
Will we call them both stupid?
Not if the other person didn't initiate the conversation. But I would call the person who
to carry on the conversation, yes, but they don't understand each other to begin with.
But that's what I'm saying. A lot of these uber proper people who don't know how to unproper themselves will start the conversation, keep that bitch going, and expect you to understand every single word. And if you don't, they're mad. That's stupid.
That is stupid
because you're not even reading the room.
Because
you're not reading the atmosphere.
But you know what though, right?
Right. Them 2000s are built differently. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, just ask Lil Nas X.
They built with chip bricks. We ain't gonna talk about it.
We ain't gonna belabor the point either, because we done been on this mug for about 2 hours. We talked about code switching. We also went into the weeds and talked about the side effects of code switching.
Yes.
And not being yourself.
Stop capping.
Right.
Stop the cap.
You know, it's been a great conversation with y'all tonight.
Absolutely.
Before we go, we're going to leave y'all with some lasting stuff. Also,
ooh, let me drop that link to Gianna's stuff.
And also Babylonian Savage.
Babylonian Savage. Hey, Babylonian Savage, post the links to your art, bro, if you got anything. Please let us celebrate you, bro. Because you're on here and you brought up a lot of good points. It's only right.
Lastly, I'm going to put this question back up here.
We support
while Nero gathering the links. And I'm also asking again, if we switch to Sundays at 8 p.m., are y'all still watching?
Mm-hmm.
It's a 90% chance this is going to happen anyway, but we do want some feedback.
We do want to know. Because we'll try to work with y'all if we can, but, we want to know,
We think this will be a more beneficial time for both our schedules, and we think it kind of would be a more beneficial time for y'all to watch.
Because it's rough out here.
Because Thursday is a weeknight. This is a weeknight, and we do understand that, and that does mean a lot to a lot of people, especially if you have children, and because most of y'all ain't doing shit on a Sunday night anyway, regardless of whether you got kids or not.
Right. That's where it is. I don't know if she's got a website, but I will post this up. I'll just post the thing where her posting it. For real.
It blocked the link. Okay.
Oh shit.
Hold up. Let me see if I can.
That sounds like that. Oh shit. All right. I'm trying to see. This woman had
Babylonian. Do you follow us on any of the social medias?
Actually, he just hit me up. Here it is.
Okay, cool.
This, yeah. Let me see if I can.
Now, mine, Nero already on it. Simple.
Give me a second.
Easy like Sunday morning.
Easy like Sunday morning.
Cool. That's what we figured. And y'all the day ones. Y'all the ones who cheer when there ain't that many people.
Channels, but let's see if it works. Okay, it does post. It will post to Facebook and Twitch. It just won't post. I mean, it'll post to YouTube and Twitch. It's not to Facebook. Let me send that to Facebook too. Give me a second. Let me do that. In fact, hold on. I'll just open up Facebook and another thing.
Cool.
Let me go ahead and get that done. That way we can get you properly represented, sir. Because we do appreciate it. We appreciate it. Because, yeah, man, we support people who support us, man. That's just how that goes. We don't always do like super uber blatant, product shares, but we do appreciate it whenever people do put things in. Keontae said, yeah, I learned a word tonight. What word did you learn, sir? I'm curious to know what word he learned.
Probably something Nick said.
It's possible. I get that a lot.
I'll say, especially as much as we speak off stream.
Yeah, my nigga.
I know I be saying some stuff sometimes. Probably something Nick said.
You just be inventing words sometimes, and I'll be like, my G. Good night, Kiki.
Night to you as well, because as we get out the studio, I'm going home to bed.
I'm going home to.
I'm tired.
Do notes and then go to bed. But ain't no point in capping about that. Work still comes first. Start stuff to fix up because it's almost the end of the month. Anyway, in all seriousness, that Facebook link is just a picture of Gianna's stuff that's going on. I don't know if I can post pictures in here. But she has a list of all her rates. She has a sale going on until the 30th. And she does good work, and she does it expediently.
Also, guys, everybody,
expeditiously.
Stay tuned to the Instagram and the Facebook page. There will be a code dropping on Halloween
for the merch.
You gonna have 24 hours
for the merch
to opt into it.
For the merch.
I'm gonna try to drop that hoe at midnight, scheduling and everything.
Yeah.
So don't ask me about it on November the 1st.
Please don't.
That ain't Halloween. Unless you 20. If you know, you know. Otherwise, don't bug me. I'm giving y'all a treat.
I was trying to get there it is, share screen. I'm gonna try and see which one.
Make sure you show the right thing.
I'm about to show the right thing. Nigga, I got this.
But
I am a professional.
So guys, stay tuned to the page. If y'all not following us on Instagram or Facebook, you are making a grave mistake.
Shop. This is what we got, our featured products. We got mugs, we got t-shirts, we got.
You ain't got it on. Hold on. Let me help you out, family.
How does mug don't? There it is. We got mugs, we got t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got wife beaters.
We got greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes.
Don't actually beat your wives, all right? We're gonna have to come see you. There's a sticker, we got a woman's comfort tee, we got posters, premium v-necks, and more tank tops and premium tank
I'm working
tops
on the leggings.
Sleeves.
Leggings cost a lot at the current moment
to
produce. Really? Yes, they do. So I'm trying to figure out a way to make it to where
those don't cost nothing to make.
We not when you a big Function 500 company, it don't. So I'm trying to figure out a way to make it at a price that we actually make money off of while not overcharging y'all.
For real.
So stay tuned on that. I'm working on it.
I'm doing like motions and stuff like y'all can still see me. Well, you can't. But hold on. There we go. We're back. Yes. Okay, so that's what I was doing. But yeah. Support the cause.
Please and thank you. All the links are in the description. You can go watch this back on Facebook. You can go watch it back on YouTube or Twitch, wherever you watch stuff. We on the main big platforms.
Whoop.
Okay?
Whoop. Also, if you happen to miss the live stream, you can always comment afterwards because they're always up on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
I don't know how long it stays up on Facebook, but I know it stays up on Twitch for like a couple days. And I know it stays up on Facebook for probably a week.
Yeah,
so
probably
YouTube
like a week or two.
Yeah,
YouTube is where it lives.
Way to go.
Yeah,
it lives
for the best viewing experience, for the best quality experience. YouTube. But you know, we want to reach out to everybody. We want to meet y'all.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh wait, he said K, wrong person. Hold on. Did you share the wrong thing, bro?
Huh?
No, he didn't. He didn't. Okay, this is him. All right, yeah, that's him. I'm just making sure. Because he said wrong person, but I think it's because he was trying to send it to you and he sent it to me.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah, y'all, we ain't gonna keep y'all. We know some of y'all done already peaced out. We want to thank y'all for tuning in.
Yes.
To what has been another episode of the Black in a Minute podcast. Yes. There will not be an audio pod this week. However, we got that consistency pod for those of y'all who missed it already available. We'll be reposting it tomorrow, but you can find it right now. You can listen to it right now. If you want to listen to some of this tomorrow, you can do that.
We're gonna go ahead and actually post the pod that actually is the inspiration for this topic.
NeRo's gonna drop the link to it right there. Yeah. Of course, if you're watching this video, if you look in the description, if you're looking at it on Facebook, Twitch, wherever, the links are in the description, y'all. People are always asking for links. Just check the description. The same way every other YouTube or live stream channel works.
Just because I don't assume that people have like Spotify and all those lovely things. That's the straight up anchor link, y'all. You can click that and get exactly what you need. It works the same way.
If that don't work, you can literally go to the follow page too and play it from there.
Anyway.
It's too accessible.
It's any way you want it. Any way you want it.
You made me think of that commercial.
Any way you want it, that's the way you need it.
Whose commercial is that? I don't even know. And you know what? No, we ain't giving them no money. Fuck y'all.
We sure ain't giving
them
no money. Fuck all that, man.
But thank you guys for tuning into the Black in a Minute podcast.
Yeah. I am NeRo AnGeLo.
And I go by the DarksKiing Poet. That's dark skin with a G on the end.
And I almost missed my cue when you did that. But we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. And also, please do support Twine and Art because they're the reason why we are here.
Facts.
And they will be having a soft opening coming up, I think, in November. Did you say November?
I think so. We will keep you posted on that. You guys don't want to miss it.
It's going to be nice.
It's going to be dope, especially.
It's already looking nice. If you were driving down Lincoln Avenue and you
live in the Evansville, Indiana area,
you probably seen it and just didn't realize it. Like, no cap. Don't worry. You will be made privy to the greatness soon. It's all good. But yes, we love you and we appreciate you. Please stay black if you're black. Stay beautiful if you, whether you think you are or not. And have a wonderful evening. Peace out.
Power.